Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Sports Analysts Podcast. I'm here with Jessa. How are we doing this fine Wednesday Eve? Though I don't know when you guys are listening to it, but how are you doing today, Jess?
We're doing good. Shout out you for going late tonight. It's dark 30, I suppose, in Georgia. So
Oh yeah, it's butt frick o'clock over here, and by butt frick o'clock I mean it's 9:30 in the evening. We've
Wait, well, I did ask you before we started recording though, and I think it would be interesting to hear. You mentioned that training camp has started and that you work long hours. What do your days
yes.
look like right now?
Well, right now they are get to the facility at like 7:30, and then I'm leaving around like 5:30, and then on Saturday we do a live show and a podcast, and so I'll probably be there from 6 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. Kinley is
Holy.
listening to this and just scoffing at me with her nurse's hours. But for me, it's hard, okay?
That's funny. Yeah, lightweight? Sheesh. Try doing that
Yeah.
7 days in a row, I guess. I don't even know what nurse hours are, but okay, that's crazy.
But yeah, fall camp is officially here for the NFL, which means college is starting very, very soon. Jessa, how's the vibe in Utah, like by the Cougs? Because I only get the vibes from sports analysts, so I love that. Like, what's the buzz?
The buzz is very excited, and there's
Okay.
two. So I don't. Do you remember 2008 very well? Like the 2006, 2007, 2008 run,
Yep. Yeah, I
and
remember that.
the quest for perfection in
I do
2008.
remember that.
Okay, you do remember that. I think those three
Unfortunately,
years. Yeah. So can you remind me what happened in 2008 and the hype surrounding that team? Because I believe our team it was on a similar like 3 year stretch as we are now.
yes, yes, very, very similar. So we did 2006, and we went, what was it, like 11-2 or something, right?
Yep.
And we beat the snot out of Oregon in the Vegas Bowl. And then 2007, we again go 10-2, and I think we won. Who did we beat in our bowl game in 2007? I think it was that UCLA. I can't remember. I just remember beating Utah, and that was the greatest thing ever. And then 2008 rolls around, and it's like, hey, this is our year. Like, we've had 2 great years leading up to this year. Everyone is back. We're doing awesome. And then we got absolutely smacked by TCU and absolutely smacked by Utah. And
Yep.
and that was it. And that was all she wrote. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I'm
sure we
looking at the
lost our bowl game
schedule.
too that year.
Let me see. Yeah, the Las Vegas Bowl, we lost to Arizona,
Yep.
21 to 31. So, and I mean, double digit wins. Again, we'll get into this, but I bring up that example first because where my mind goes when I feel the hype that is surrounding the football team, I go to 2017 and 2002. Those are the two places where my mind goes.
Interesting.
So a
Yes.
much
Okay.
worse place than where other people go. But
Okay.
because the hype, that's a long-winded answer to tell you that the hype is real. And most conversations around BYU are college football playoff or bust.
Wow. Did you ever think we would be here, Jessa?
What do you mean by here? Like have a shot at it? Like,
Or be in a spot where BYU fans are saying that it is CFP or bust?
oh man, I would hope that we would learn from our past. You know what? Let's jump into this. This is one of my topics for today, and I'm very passionate about it. We need to have an intervention with
All right,
BYU
let's do it.
fans. Okay, this is the first thing we're going to talk about. Um, I need everybody to understand, and I think sports analyst is already there, but outside, may this reach the bluest of blue goggled people. BYU is going to lose a game this year.
That
Like,
is true.
everybody's talking like, oh no, we have a shot at Notre Dame, and we have a shot getting through our 8 week stretch that we don't have a bye with, and we're going to be perfectly healthy, and we're the deepest and most talented we've ever been, right? Um, I just need everybody to take a step back and realize, A, we haven't played a game, B, fall camp hasn't even started, and C, like, BYU's never gone undefeated. We won't go undefeated. So I need everybody to just take a heat check and take a step back and realize that set your expectations where you're going to have fun this year and not be disappointed. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. I
So
love
my
that.
my question. Wait, go ahead.
No, no, no. I'm just saying that is where we should all have expectations, and we should all have hopes, and we should not let the hopes become the expectations. You need to still
Yes.
have your expectations. You can still hope for greatness, but don't let those hopes become your expectations, because all that's going to lead to is misery.
Yep. Yep. And every year too, it's a new team, right? And I know we return a lot of talent. I think we'll be good, but I've just been let down too many times to think that like the college football playoff is a guarantee. And so everybody can get on my butt when if it happens, you know? But
Yeah.
here's my question for you. Realistically, there's a term in like software that is MVP, meaning minimum viable product. Meaning like when you're shipping
Okay.
something new and when you're whatever, it's like what is the least like the smallest feature we can ship that still solves the problem that we're trying to solve.
Okay. Yep.
So I want to ask you a similar question, which is what is the minimum viable outcome for BYU this season to avoid a bust? I would say. So to you, what does the schedule and what does the season look like where you're like, I'm happy with that. I will accept that.
This is a tough one because if we're talking about expectations, right? And I know that wasn't the question, but my expectation is like 10-2, right? In the regular season. And I'm going to set this for the regular season. Okay?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I'm not going to include Big 10 or Big 12 championship game or bowl games or anything like that because all of that is gravy. I think my expectation is at 10-2, but if we go 10-2, is that a quote unquote viable product or viable outcome, right?
Yeah.
Because I I think our realism is like, yes, that should be good. Like we haven't been at a spot where we're winning 10 games a year in a row, in a row, in a row, in a row. Right. And so that's really cool to be in that space. But I think a lot of BYU fans would be disappointed in another 10-2 season because you're probably not going to make the playoff unless you somehow make the Big 12 championship because it was a crazy year or there's some tiebreakers, right? In fact, they're like almost guaranteed have to be some sort of tiebreaker for you to make
Yeah.
it at 10-2, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess it depends on what your losses are, blah 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 blah. You get my gist, right?
Yeah,
So I
well,
think
all of the mock brackets I see only have one Big 12 team. So if we start the year and people think the Big 12 is a one bid league, like I don't see that changing. Like we can't bank on that changing, you know? So if you
right.
don't make the
And
championship game, nah, no shot.
oh yeah. Right? And we talked about this last year, right? BYU was 11-1. They had to win the Big 12 championship to be in. And like we all knew it, right? It was like on Selection Sunday, it was like, oh, how could they do this? But like, no, we all knew that BYU had to win, right? The only way the Big 12 team is going to get in the playoff as a non-champ is if they go 12-0 and lose super super close in the championship game to a team that was like 11-1, right?
Right.
You have to have two 12-1 teams. To bring this full circle, I think for BYU, the minimum viable outcome to avoid a bust and therefore like have success, I think is an 11-win season. Because if you want to keep the trajectory of the program on the upward ramp, I think 11 wins with a loss to Notre Dame specifically is the trajectory. Like let's all remember that's exactly what we did last year. We went 11-1. That is insane. That is awesome. That is great that BYU did that. If we want to continue the upward momentum and not have a downward momentum, like we need to win 11 games again. I think if BYU wins 11 games and loses to Notre Dame and we go to the Big 12 championship, it's going to be the exact same as last year. If we win, then it's going to be great and we're in the playoff. And if we lose, it's going to be, wow, we couldn't win our biggest games, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, even then at 11-1, you're still kind of at the same spot. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to be realistic here, Jess. I'm not trying to set the bar too high, but that's kind of what it is, right? The bar is here. If we don't meet that bar, at least, it's going to be disappointing to everybody.
Yeah, especially given where we've been, like you said, right? And I do feel like 2024, we got a little bit better in 2025, right? And so the expectation is that in 2026, we get a little bit better than we were in 25. So
Yep.
that is the expectation. I think my definition of viable is a little bit different to
Okay,
where
okay, let's hear it.
can we maintain our recruiting uh, that we're on? Can we maintain investment in the program? And can we maintain some semblance of national respect? And what I would
Yeah.
compare to like answer like what is the national respect? And this is bad, but like Iowa, you know,
Yeah.
like Iowa and actually Iowa's a good example. Like
Yeah.
they're looked at as a pretty good team, and people look at Iowa and they're like they could go off for an undefeated one loss season, 11-1, right? Um, but they're thought of as like more like a big boy, you know,
Yeah.
in that
Yeah. They're
they'll
like
get to double digit wins.
they're like they're never going to beat Ohio State, but they're a
Right.
really tough out, and they will beat Michigan and they will beat Penn State, but
Yes.
they're not at the S tier, but they're a solid like yeah, this team is going to win 10 games and they're going to go to the Holiday Bowl and beat the snot out of USC.
Yes, that's exactly right. And that to me is like minimum. That is the floor that I will accept without completely crashing out. That's kind
Yeah,
of where
and
I
I
set the bar.
well, and like thinking back to your definition, like that is the question you asked, right? It's like what is the bare minimum that we can do to like sell the product or like deliver on what we promised, right? And that's it. Yeah, like winning 10 games, right? That's let's be honest, if it's less than 10 games, then yeah, you truly are like this was a step backwards. But if you're
Yes.
winning 10 games, again, you are still raising that floor. You are saying, we're here in the Big 12, and these last couple years have not been a mistake. This is the standard now. Like we are a 10-win team, and it still gives you that hope of hey, in the future, maybe one day we can compete with the big boys. But you are setting yourself. We are not in Arizona State. We are not Baylor. We are not. Texas Tech is a bad example, but Texas Tech in the past, where they'd have like
Right.
one good year, or Oklahoma State,
Yep.
right? We
Yep.
are setting ourselves apart from all of that and becoming, like you said, the Iowa that like a down year is a 9-3 year for them.
Yes, that's exactly right. Now, do we want that? No. I am trying to preserve because 2016, 2017 were some of the hardest years of teenage Jessa's life. And I am trying to set my expectations to a point where I can enjoy football season. So maybe this is personal, but I think it does come down to what do you want? And
Yeah.
definitely inside the building, you'd better be talking about 11-1, 10-2 as your floor. Like that had better be
Oh
like
yeah.
you'd better be pissed off if that happens actually. Okay?
Right. Well, and let's be honest. If we go 10-2, Jess, who are the two losses probably going to be to? If we're being 100% honest, who is it going to be to?
Notre Dame and Utah.
Exactly. You can't pitch that. You cannot sell anyone on a 10-win season with losses to your biggest rival and your most hated team that's not a rival.
Yep.
Like, you cannot do that. And so, if we do go 10-2 and those are two losses, it is going to be like fire and brimstone in Provo. That
Yes,
cannot
agreed.
happen.
Agreed. What if you drop to Notre Dame? Let's just assume. Let's pencil in Notre Dame as a loss right now. Okay.
I'm Sharpie, but yeah.
Great. Until I see us play Arizona week 2, like that's a loss. I'm not. I have no
Okay.
hope for that
Yep.
game. Wow, we're downers, man. Let's say that. Let's say we beat Utah. I could see us dropping to UCF, TCU, any game in that October-November stretch where we don't have a bye and LJ's out or Bear goes, like someone's not 100%. Like I
Yep.
can see us dropping a game. So, does it make it better if we beat Utah and go 10-2? Probably. But
Yeah.
the likelihood of that happening. Anyways,
It's tough, Jess. It's tough. And I want to, yeah. We played 9 games in a row, like you said.
yeah.
Like, from from October 3rd to December 4th, right? We play 9 games in 9 weeks, and then you maybe go to the Big 12 championship game to play a 10th game in a row. Like, it is paramount that you start 3-0 because
Oh,
you
yeah.
are going to drop at least 1 game in that 9-game stretch. Now,
Yeah.
I hope it's in a really, really close game to Notre Dame and not to anybody else on the schedule. Because here's another question I have for you, Jessa. We talked about 10-2. Your most likely losses are going to be Utah and Notre Dame, right? If you're 11-1 and your loss is not to Utah or Notre Dame, does that loss counteract the win over Notre Dame? So, like, I'm giving you an example, right? It's 11-1. We play in the Big 12 championship game. We're taking that out of the equation because if you win, you're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the committee looking at us in a plus or a minus compared to last year if we have a good win and a bad loss? Right? Say we beat Notre Dame at home, but we lose at UCF the next week.
Oh boy, yeah, that's a fun scenario to think about. The example that comes to mind is Miami last year.
Okay?
They beat Notre Dame, right, early in the season, but
Yeah.
then they lost to Louisville. That's who
Yes.
they lost to, right?
And SMU.
And
Yeah.
SMU. And SMU's a bad loss, right? And they barely squeaked into the playoff, and they have the Miami brand, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think so. I think, well, they had 2 losses. I think it comes down to probably the Big 12 championship game. And do I think that should be the? Do I think that
Right,
should
which
be the
is
case?
not supposed to matter.
Yes, but do I think that should be the case? No, but nothing in the history of the committee has told me that we are going to get any benefit of the doubt. In my head, we have to win the Big 12. That's how we get
Yeah.
it. Texas Tech will get the benefit of the doubt, right? Kansas State might get the benefit of the doubt. I just don't think that BYU is getting any sort of benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. And again, this is where we talk about the hopes and expectations, right?
Yeah.
There is a world in which BYU goes 12-0, right?
Yeah.
If BYU can pull off some massive, upset at home against Notre Dame, there's a chance we win the rest of our games. Like, this isn't the hardest schedule. If you take Notre Dame out and you look at the conference schedule alone, it's really at TCU and at Utah, right? Those
Right.
are your hard games, and then at Kansas because I guess we can't beat Kansas in football.
No, we can't.
But like, if you pull that off, you can go 12-0, and then I think you're in regardless, right? If you're 12-1 with a loss in
yeah.
a championship game, you're getting in.
Yes,
It,
100%.
Florida State happened, so I guess I can't say with complete certainty that anything is given, but I would feel very good about that, right? But if you're 11-1 going into the like, I think you still have to win the Big 12 championship game. So
Yep. And there's so
Again,
many
like-
variables too that we'll see.
Yeah.
But I want to come back to this moment like halfway through the season and just see do a temperature check. My
Yeah.
last question for you: if we go 12-0, let's say we go 12-0. I was literally thinking today, if we go 12-0 and win the Big 12, I might go get a tattoo. I might go drive down to Lake Powell and do like a cold plunge. Like, I'm going to do. I thought about dyeing my hair blue, and I was like, no, we can't do that. So I think I will drive down to Lake Powell in January and do a cold plunge off of a 20-foot cliff if we go 12-0. And I'll video it and send it out to everybody. And maybe
love
if there's
that.
another punishment you can think of, send it my way. I'll do it. Crazy.
I love that. Yeah, I feel very confident in promising just about anything here.
Great.
I would get a giant Y tattoo across both of my buttocks. Just a giant oval Y. And then I would go to Lake Powell and do the jump and have my pants around my ankles so everybody could see my tattoo. That's what I would do.
That's so much better. Oh man, it just exposed me as being a little bit delusional. It happens.
Well, I sure hope it does. I think you're right. I think that Arizona game in week 2 is going to be very telling, right?
Yeah.
If we come out and kind of take them to town a little bit, I think we'll all feel pretty good. But if we come out and we lose or it's another double overtime game, I think we're back to square one. Right.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
Speaking of early in the season, I do have some bad news before we get to the rest of our
Oh,
episode.
that's right.
Have you heard this? Have you heard this news
I
about the
saw it,
commentary
and
team?
then you're about to remind me, but go ahead.
Yeah, Colorado State. Okay, it's like prime time on CBS. Who knew? Like, I have no idea how that happened. It must be a really weak slate of games that week.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly, yes, that Brian Kelly is going to be the color commentator for the Colorado State game.
I have
And
a
Jessa,
question.
you say what?
How are we keeping? How do? Why does CBS think that people want to listen to him? Like why do we think people like him at all? I can't think of very many people who are more unlikable than Brian Kelly in college football. What? That's probably why they gave him to us. Let's be real. That's probably another thing that the TV networks did to give us Brian Kelly. I will be definitely syncing up that game with Greg Wrubell. There's
Yep.
absolutely no doubt in my mind.
Great call, Jess. This is a great time to plug syncing up with Greg on the BYU radio app. You can pause it, fast forward, rewind, link it up to the television. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so great. It's so
Wonderful.
great. It's the
Oh
only
man.
way to watch. It's the only way to watch.
And that's week 3, right?
Yes, that is week 3. Yep.
Cool.
I don't know how we got the 7:30 Eastern on CBS slot, but hey,
I've said for a long time that that's actually a really scary game. Very scary game. It's got Toledo, it's got UMass written all over it. Okay,
Yeah.
guys. So watch out. Gosh. Okay, our next thing. Speaking of TV networks, and there's been a lot of conversation.
yeah.
Obviously, because it's Big Ten media days. We're off of SEC media days. So much talk about the freaking Invitational slash
Yep.
playoff, also known as. And you have some thoughts about
Yeah, yeah, I do. So I would just like to remind everybody that I do not care about the playoff. Okay, I know I say this literally every episode, and I say it every other week in Sports Analyst. So you're gonna get sick of me saying it. I do not care. Okay, if BYU makes it, great. I'm gonna watch because it's my favorite team. Right? If Ohio State makes it, I'm gonna watch. But I do not care about the college football invitational playoff in any other way, right? Because of what we have seen, the injustice, the bias, the using whatever logic or whatever narrative fits you just to get the biggest brands for the money, right? We've seen countless very questionable calls. Marvin Harrison Jr. comes to mind. 4th and 7, Arizona State versus Texas comes to mind. Miami jumping Notre Dame in the last week in which neither of the teams played. Completely inconsequential that Duke won the ACC, and the ACC was going to get left out, and so that had absolutely nothing to do with Miami getting in there to give the ACC a chunk of the change, right? We have seen like how corrupt it is. Florida State happened, and that was the moment for me where I was like, this is all a sham. Like this is clearly, it is an entertainment product, and they are treating it as such. This is not a sport. This is not based on merit. This is not, as they say in F1, you did not earn anything on the track, right? You're not doing anything on the track to win. No one is doing anything there to win, right? We've seen BYU get shafted by this, right? The COVID year comes to mind with Coastal Carolina playing an option team on 2 days prep, travel across the country, gets held against BYU. They weren't even close in the final rankings, despite having blown out everyone else on their schedule, right? So, all of this to say, we know that this is a corrupt entity. So why are we paying them money? Why are we being complicit in their corruption? It doesn't make sense. It's like, imagine going to your favorite restaurant and ordering a hamburger because you really want a hamburger, and then they bring you out a steaming pile of cow turds. And you say, I wanted a hamburger. And they're like, but the cow turds. And then you just eat it, and you come back the next day. Like, that makes no sense, right? So why are we doing this with the college football playoff? Like, I want to ask everybody, if you really are upset about the college football playoff, then don't watch it. That is your biggest weapon. Nothing you say in a text chain or on Twitter, or whether you mount this journalistic convoy and crusade against this, nothing's going to change because the money is still going into their pockets, and you directly as a viewer are contributing to the exchange of goods. You are making them the money by watching the ads. If you do not like the college football playoff and how it is run, then you should not watch the college football playoff. If you do watch it, you are being complicit in the machine that is causing you the very pain that you are complaining about. Now, you can also just shut up and stop complaining, because if you are just feigning complaints and feigning hurt, then just stop that, because that's false. That's fraud. You are defrauding yourself and the rest of us that actually care. Okay, so choose a side, and you're either on their side and you're watching, or you're on our side and you're not watching because you don't want to be complicit in the corruption. Does that make sense, Jessa? Sorry for the 3-minute tirade.
Nope, 100%. Okay, so here's what I'm hearing, and I'm getting amped up. I'm ready to run through a wall. Not run through a wall if the SEC's on the other side. Here's what I'm hearing, and this is what I'm thinking in my head about the tactical, like, what are we going to do about this or not do about this? Any game, SEC game, like, don't watch on ESPN, period. I don't know where else they would be, but, like, don't watch SEC games. Don't watch the playoff. Don't watch College Game Day. Well, no, I don't anymore, gonna be honest. Watch Big Noon, right? Those kind of things. Honestly, that sounds pretty easy. I think I casually do that already, is the thing. So we just need to take the full jump and maybe be more purposeful about it. But that's the game plan.
Yes,
you don't like it,
that
then
is
watch
exactly
it.
that is exactly the game plan. I will be watching the Premier League on Saturday mornings up until kickoff, and then I will watch the games of the teams that I care about, and on the networks that aren't running the playoff. ESPN has a complete monopoly on the playoff. Okay, that's a whole other part of the pie that I don't even want to get into, is that ESPN is basically like owned and financed by the SEC. They're in bed with the SEC, and also they like run the playoff. And how is that not a conflict of interest? We're not even going to go there. But like Jessa said, if you truly do like want to make a difference, then it's going to take all of us. It's like voting, right? Your vote itself doesn't actually matter. But if everybody had that attitude, it would destroy the system, right? So me not watching college football playoff games doesn't matter. But if everybody doesn't watch the college football playoff, then it starts to matter. And so it needs to be a group project that we undertake, that we're not going to watch SEC games because ESPN is just propping up the SEC with their strength of schedule metrics, where they just boost all the SEC schools like they have for the last 12 years. We have to take a stand, and the most powerful weapon we have is apathy and just non-complicitness, whatever the correct term for that is. So, yes, follow Jessa's rules. No SEC games, no college game day, no college football playoff, no college football playoff selection shows. Okay, none of that. And if you really want to get into it, don't watch all the crap that everybody else puts out about the playoff, right? If there's a Cover 3 podcast, right, I usually listen to the Cover 3, but if they're talking about the college football playoff and their reaction show, don't listen to it. We can't feed the wolf, because it's only going to grow the more we feed it. And so if you really don't want it to grow, we need to take a stand.
And replace it with things. There's tons to replace it with, right?
Yep.
Especially like when Maction kicks off, and for us who like enjoy a little bit of sports betting or casual sports betting, right? Like go put your energy somewhere else. And also, NFL Jake comes to mind. Let's invest more in the NFL, you guys. That's a fun league. That's great.
Yep.
Let's replace it with something, which is so sad to hear, because I think as college football fans, we want to invest in like the playoff, or a playoff if it ever comes, right? Because it's not one right
Yep.
now. Like, I will gladly invest in a playoff when it's an actual playoff, and when
Right?
it's not, like you said, watered down with money mongering and SEC propaganda.
Yep.
I'm down for it. I think it'll be fun. I think it's great.
Let's do it. And guys,
Dilemma. What happens if
yes.
college game day comes to Provo? Oh, solution. Just go. Don't watch it on TV. Just go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
Perfect.
You can
But
you
what
can
am
do
I
that. I will
saying?
allow you
They're
that
not
pass.
going to. What am I saying? That's silly.
Dude's gonna have 3 losses by the time Notre Dame rolls in.
So we're good. We're good. We don't even have to worry about that. Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh yeah. All this said, I know we've been kind of downers the last couple of weeks. We both love college
I know.
football, and
Yeah.
we will both be watching every BYU game. Yeah, we are the kind of sickos that are tuned in on Thursday night to App State versus James Madison, right?
Oh,
Or
100. Yeah.
the Tuesdays in October where Jacksonville State and Delaware are playing at 11 o'clock Eastern and it goes to double overtime. And, somebody butt fumbles the ball and it's returned for 2 points and that's how the game ends. Like,
Yep.
that is the fun college football anyway, right? And I know like the pageantry and everything is super beautiful and it's great. But the way to preserve that is by fighting the things that are destroying it, which are the greedy conferences and networks that are destroying everything that they can in order to fit in more commercials, to fit in the things that fit their agenda in order to make more money, regardless of what fans or history or traditions exist. And that's how we take a stand. That's how you blow up a pipeline. It's a good movie. You should go watch it. But yeah, anyway, we love college football and we love BYU football, and we are going to be rooting so hard all season long. So don't let our pessimism turn you off from the sport. It's still going to be a great season, guys.
And starting next week, we will have real things to talk about. I think we've been filling our time, right? Like we've been predicting a lot and talking about what ifs. Starting next week, pads will be on, videos will be out of Bear Bachmeyer throwing to Kyler Casper over the middle, or Legend Glasker. Remember that name.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have real things to talk about, so it will get more exciting. I want to piss you off one more time. Can I just do that really
Let's
fast
do it.
before we hit? Okay, I'm going to feed you and everybody else 2 schedules, and I'm not going to tell
Oh,
you
boy.
which teams. You'll know the conferences by the schedules, but I just want you to guess where each of these schedules rank in ESPN's strength of schedule release metric, which I don't.
Metric.
Words cannot describe how absolutely ridiculous and how stupid they think we are, because
Yeah.
the teams haven't played a snap yet. How do you know they're good? They're not good. How do you know that the schedule is good if the teams have... Anyways, okay. I'm going to give you 2 schedules. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Let's do this one. This one's fine. Yeah, okay. San Jose State, Fresno State, Louisiana. Rutgers.
I mean, those are all
yeah.
G5 teams. Those are all G5 teams. Those are not FCS teams. I do enjoy
No,
that.
this is true. There is not an FCS team on this schedule.
I love that. I'm all for that.
Rutgers, but this right here. Just listen to this slate of teams, okay? Oregon,
Okay.
Washington,
Yep.
Penn State, okay?
Okay.
3 weeks in a row. No buys there, by the way.
Yuck.
Yep. Penn State, at Penn State.
Okay.
Wisconsin. Ohio State, at home. But then the week after, you go to Indiana. And then you have Michigan.
Reigning national champs.
Yes, and you have at home. I mean away at their home, and then Maryland and UCLA. So that middle stretch of Oregon, Washington, Penn State, at Wisconsin, okay, and then Ohio State and Indiana.
Indiana and Ohio State back to back is brutal.
That is brutal. So you don't get you don't really get Michigan. That's like the only team in the Big Ten that is good that you don't really get. You don't get Iowa,
Well,
right?
is good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
true.
crazy. You get you get the clear top 3 teams in the Big Ten, and then you get like a bunch of the B tier teams too.
Yep. I will grant that the non-conference is somewhat weak, right? But that slate is pretty tough.
It doesn't have an FCS, which I love not playing FCSs. I think we should play FCSs in the spring as our spring game.
Yeah,
and not play
agreed.
them in the fall. Anyway,
Agreed.
pretty
Okay, so
pretty tough schedule. If that was
yeah, it's pretty.
BYU, I would hate that. I would hate that for us because we would have less wins.
Yes, but you played two of the last three national champions in that schedule, back to back. Like, that's insane. Okay, so it's pretty tough, right? I mean, again, teams have not. I'm doing this, and I've said teams have not played a snap, okay? But anyways, on paper, let's listen to this one. Different team now versus North Alabama.
That is an FCS, just to remind everyone.
Juggernaut. Yep. Then they go to Utah, which,
Okay.
granted, I'll give them that. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Again, hasn't taken a snap, has lost half
Yep.
their defense and their
But going
offense.
on the road to play a P4 team, I respect that.
Yeah, me too. And then you play Georgia at home. So you don't go to Georgia, you play Georgia at home. Tough game.
Georgia's pretty good.
Yeah. Versus Tulsa.
Not very good.
Nope. At Texas A&M. So that's going to be a tough one.
Yep.
And here is their middle slate. So this is about the time when the last schedule really heated up. You've got Tennessee at home.
Okay.
7-6 Tennessee. Is that right? Did they make a bowl game? I don't even know if they made a bowl game last year. You go to Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia less Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And then you get Missouri at home. You go to Auburn. Okay. You get South Carolina at home. Okay. And then I'll give you these last two. You go to Texas, and then you get LSU at home.
Okay. So we're talking four of the top eight, four of the top half of the
Yeah.
SEC, right?
Yep.
I mean, you played Georgia and Texas, who assumedly, allegedly, are going to be pretty good. And then you get LSU, which again allegedly is supposed to be pretty good, and then Texas A&M on the road, which is tough. But then there's Utah, right?
Here's my deal, though. I get that
Yeah,
these are two tough schedules. I'm not saying
yeah.
that one is a cupcake and one is not. But, like, where do you think those two schedules belong? Like, how far apart those two schedules do you think?
I would say these are very close. I would give the edge to the SEC team by a little bit,
Yeah, me too.
but not by much. Like
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 points.
Okay, awesome. So the first team that we read is USC, and they're
Okay.
number 19th. That's the 19th toughest schedule in the country.
Okay. That's fit.
And then the second one is Arkansas, and that is supposedly the hardest schedule in college football. That's number one.